This PowerPoint is for the Congregational Council of Holy Trinity Lutheran Church. You all know I have been your intern for the past 4.5 months. I am also taking a class on stewardship, and as a part of this class, I'm going to give you my first impressions of what stewardship looks like at Holy Trinity. The people of Holy Trinity have made a bold statement by becoming a congregation which welcomes people of all sexual orientations and gender identities. The welcoming statement reflects the spirit of being inclusive of people of all backgrounds while retaining a foundation in Lutheran theology. A foundation in Lutheran theology means we are Christ-centered. Every meeting starts and ends with prayer, and I'm constantly hearing that we live in a world of abundance and we must give out of our abundance, not because we need to for our salvation, but we give because we have been saved. My professor, Adam Copeland, wrote, "Stewardship is how we share money, but also how we acquire, spend, invest our resources, our full experience with the gift God entrusts to us. How does the congregation of Holy Trinity utilize our gifts of time, talent, and money to be Christ in the world?" The leadership of the church is responsive to the congregation, which resulted in 3 services on Sunday morning. Traditional services at 8 and 10:45, and a contemporary service at 9:30. People must be met where they are, and that means praising God in the way people see God in their lives. I immediately encountered an attitude of high expectations at Holy Trinity, both in discipleship and stewardship. There is significant lay participation in worship. There are committees and circles meeting several days a week. The second week I was here, a group went to El Paso on a mission trip. I experienced the slower pace of summer and then helped ramp up programs when school started. I have taught 2 classes on being Lutheran. I counted to 2014 pumpkins as 50 volunteers unloaded them for the Pumpkin Patch, a fundraiser for the Holy Trinity Preschool. Holy Trinity uses time, talent, and money to make a difference in the world. God's Work Our Hands Sunday, there was a variety of opportunities to do projects in and out of the church. The noisy offering is collected for specific organizations. Beneficiaries have included Family Promise, New Beginnings, and Integrated Family Services. Music fills all 3 services. The congregation invested in a new piano and makes sure the pipe organ is always in working order. Members of the congregation fill the vocal choir and handbell choir. A professional musician accompanies and sings for the 9:30 service. The people of Holy Trinity love and support the music program. When a member of the congregation was no longer able to climb the steps into the chancel to sing in the choir and play bells, the gifts, talents, and money of the congregation were used to overcome the problem. A ramp was constructed and put into place. Holy Trinity invests in the welfare of each member. The fellowship hall hosts a variety of functions: receptions for funerals, movie viewing, the 9:30 service, Faith Quest, and many other things. The congregation invested in a remodel of the kitchen attached to the fellowship hall so the needs of the many can be met in a healthy and sanitary environment. Holy Trinity hosts Family Promise once a quarter. From their website, we partner with diverse congregations to provide shelter, meals, and hospitality to families experiencing homelessness within the Denver metro area. Our building provides housing and volunteers for the homeless who stay overnight during the week. Holy Trinity has done a lot with time, talent, and money, but what are some future needs? I've heard about issues related to the hall between the narthex and the south side of the building. The hall is narrow and is often congested before and after service. Plans are being discussed to make the hallway more user-friendly. The installation of the ramp is a short-term solution to the steps in the chancel, but what may be a long-term solution to individuals with mobility issues? Are there ways to make the chancel more accessible? That is an issue that will take a significant amount of research and most likely a large financial investment. Fair Exchange Coffee and Chocolate is located and may be purchased in the narthex. Do we do enough to let people know why we sell the coffee and the chocolate? Do people really know who benefits from the sale of the products? What are other ways we reach out outside of the doors of the church? Well, we have a very active and involved advocacy committee. The members of the committee are involved with eco-justice, ecumenical outreach, writing emails and cards to state and local and federal representatives. For example, I was in a meeting yesterday when we were given a briefing on the multitude of ways we can make our voices heard. New Beginnings Worshiping Community is located within the Denver Women's Correctional Facility. A former Holy Trinity intern is their pastor. There are several Holy Trinity members who volunteer at New Beginnings each Friday. New Beginnings brings Christ to women who need to find hope, love, and acceptance in the world. The congregation has a long history of outreach. The congregation also does so much to care for each other. A significant amount of time, talent, and money went into creating a space for loved ones who have left us. Next to the columbarium is the labyrinth, where we can pray for comfort and solace. There are many young families in the congregation who are seeking ways to include God in their lives. Part of the mission of Holy Trinity is to find ways to integrate the young and not so young into the life of the congregation. Pastor Sonia, the pastor for youth and families, is always finding new ways to reach out to all. What is our mission? Be the church. Bring people together in prayer, in worship, and in community. Our mission is to find ways to utilize our resources to share the gifts God gives us with the world. As Luther once said, if we don't tend to others as much as ourselves, we are in trouble.